Glad you're here. Welcome to Mosaic students. If you are new around here and you don't know who I am, my name is Kenny, and I get a chance to serve as a part of the staff of our church, Mosaic Church, and I get a chance to do the most fun job around here, and that is get a chance to be part of our student ministry program. I'm just going to move up to the thing. I'm sure everyone in the back can see me if I'm sitting, and I got to be cool and sit in a cool stool, so that's not going to be cool. It's a cool stool. Or if you have 13 pair of Converse shoes, like Jake. I want to be like Jake. Like, you're my hero. I want to just be like you.
Wow. Why are you so popular?
I'm so popular.
Why are you so popular?
I want to be the
Jesus is my hero. Jake's like a close second. All right. Jake's pretty cool, man. Look at him. Just look at him. Just look at him. Everyone look at
Enough
Jake.
about Jake, okay? Okay.
Like, I thought I come to church about Jesus, not Jake. We're both Jakes. It's close. So we're going to dive into a series called Road Signs. Everybody say road signs.
Road signs.
Does anyone here drive? Raise your hand if you drive. All right. Great. All right. If you do not drive, raise your hand.
Car.
Now I want to tell you something. I am the best driver that I know. Okay. Seriously. No, seriously. I am an amazing driver. Like I'm like super cautious. I mean, I always drive the speed limit. I never break the rules. I am extremely courteous. I can foresee if something bad's going to happen, so I'm always proactively like, doing the right. I mean, I am the best driver on the planet without a close second, except when I'm distracted. The chasm, the gap between Kenny not distracted and Kenny being distracted is a chasm, a gap that is wider than the Grand Canyon. Okay? When I am distracted, I am the worst driver on the road. All right? I'm like a blind 3-year-old that had too much chocolate. Just off the chain, terrible. Now, only when I'm distracted though, okay? So this is a very so I'm distracted by a few things, okay? A few things distract me, like really loud music in the car distracts me, okay? Other people in the car talking to me distracts me. When I'm wearing my seatbelt, I get distracted by the seatbelt. When I'm not wearing a seatbelt, I'm distracted by the fact that I'm not wearing it. Other cars on the road distract me. Breathing distracts me. And so I'm the best driver on the planet, except when I'm distracted when one of those things is taking place. And so what happens is sometimes we're headed in a particular direction. We're going to a particular destination, but we get distracted along the way. And what happens is we end up not being that which we know we ought to be. We end up not being nearly as good as we would hope to be, or nearly as effective as we would want to be. So, over the course of this series, we're going to be talking about the idea that God has called us to a certain destination. Every single one of us are called to live our lives a certain way and called to accomplish certain things. We're going to spend the next 4 weeks talking about how do I do that. Wow. And so things like, what is it that God would want me to do in my life? Like, what do I want to do? Like, what should I do when I grow up? I'm still asking that. Like, what should I do when I grow up? You know? And so asking yourselves that question, like, what are the things that I love to do that maybe I want to maybe do as a career? What should I do? Or how do I know what God wants me to do? Or how do I know what college I should go to? Or how do I know what career I should pursue? Or how do I know if I should date this person? Or how do I know if I should go to this school? Or how do I know if I should get this job or this job? As we walk through our lives, we face a variety of questions in terms of destination. And so over the next several weeks, we're going to talk about the things that distract us and the things that maybe inhibit us or get in the way from us accomplishing the things we want to accomplish. Ultimately, the things we want to accomplish is make God look really good. What I mean by that is simply this. If you're unfamiliar with the gospel, it's very simple. Every single one of us, human beings, have made huge mistakes. If you have ever made a mistake or sinned or done anything stupid, raise your hand really high. If you've ever done anything wrong. All right, everyone has their hand raised, except for Hanu, who is a big fat liar right now. So right, if you get diarrhea, it's because you lied. You just throw it out there, bro. Be careful with lying in church. Anyway, so every single one of us have sinned. We were created by God to have friendship with God. God wants to have a friendship with you. Like, you can talk to God, and he'll talk back. You're like, really? I hear voices? Like, it's kind of like that, exactly. And so God will talk to you. You can have a friendship with God, and it's awesome. When God created us, we were made to have friendship with him. And we were made to live our lives and do awesome things. God made every single one of you to do awesome things. You're like, me? Yeah, I do. Every single one of us were created for a specific purpose. No one in this room is an accident. You were not born when you were born, where you were born, by accident or by chance. Every single person was created perfectly, exactly the way you are, by God himself. So whenever people don't like something about you, you just tell them, hey, take it up with God. People are like, Kenny, man, you're so loud. Why are you so loud all the time? Don't take it, man. God is the one who gave me, the loud voice. I mean, take it up with him. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be trying to step to God, so I wouldn't do that if I were you. I'm just saying, if someone comes up to you and like, man, I don't really like your eyebrows. I'm like, God made me these eyebrows, all right? So back up, okay? Except unless you're one of those people that like pluck them really thin. You know those girls are like, they pluck their eyebrows just like a line, just like a straight line, or like, or you know the girls are like, they pluck them so thin, they pluck them like an arch. They always look confused. They're like, huh? What? You got, huh? Like girls, just don't do that. Just helping you out, all right? Like every time you see me, like, what? Huh? No, don't do that. All right. Anyway, God didn't make you those kind of eyebrows. Anyway, so no, seriously, every single one of us were created by God with a purpose. God wants you to do awesome things, but because of sin, because every single one of us have done these terribly sinful things, we've rebelled against God, we've separated ourselves from God. There's a wall between us and God, between us having a friendship with God, between us being able to accomplish what God created us to accomplish. So we can't do it. And so Jesus says, I love you so much that I'm going to make a way, I'm going to rescue you. So God in heaven comes down in human form. True story. God came down, lived as a man. His name was Jesus. He dies on the cross. He takes the punishment so that God can say, okay, I punish my son, and I don't have to punish you. And if we believe in Jesus, we follow after Jesus, the punishment he takes substitutes the punishment we deserve so that we don't have to be separated from God. And God says, because I love you, I've made a way for you to have a friendship with me again so that you can accomplish the things that I want you to accomplish, so they can be restored back to the way you were created, to have perfect friendship with God. So every single one of us were created with God inside of us, with elements of God, with the image of God in us. And because of sin, it was marred. But God makes a way for us to be rescued. And so we can accomplish awesome things on behalf of God. And we can accomplish the things that he sets us out to accomplish because he has rescued us. If you are here and you are a believer in Jesus, if you say, Kenny, man, I love God, and I'm chasing after Jesus, and I genuinely believe in him, if that is you, then you have been saved from the separation. When you die, you will spend eternity in heaven with God. But long before that, we get a chance to walk this earth with him, friendship with him. That only applies, though, if you are a follower of Jesus. And it is awesome. And so if you're a follower of Jesus here tonight, I want to let you know that God loves you, has a plan, and he has some awesome things for every single one of you. So I want you to do, I know that in this room there are people who love Jesus, who probably have some dreams and hopes and goals of things that you would like to accomplish one day. Or things that you know, man, that would be cool. Or maybe even not even one day long. Maybe there's some things, maybe you're here like, man, I'd like to do this thing next week. I'd like to be able to accomplish something in 2014 or before I graduate high school. Maybe there's something that you would, some destination that you want to get to. And so as you go through the series, we want to teach you how to get to those destinations. On your chair, you've got these 3x5 cards. Everyone grab those. Grab a 3x5 card. You should have a pen. If you don't have a pen, maybe your neighbor's got a pen. There should be several pens around. So we're going to do, I want you to take a second. You got Bibles there you can write on. I want you to take a second and write down maybe some things that you would like to accomplish in your life. Maybe some dreams. Maybe some things that you think God has given you. Maybe you're like, man, I want to play in the NFL. Maybe that's a dream you got. All right, girls, maybe you want to play, play football in the NFL. Okay. Maybe you're like, you know what, I want to be like, I don't know, maybe, hunters, like, man, I want to be on The Bachelor show. I want to be on that TV show. Awesome. No, you want to be on The Bachelor? Has anyone ever watched The Bachelor? I've never watched it.
Yes, he does.
I've never seen it. It's probably bad. I don't know. Anyway. Why don't you write down, really think for a second, okay, what are some things that I would like to accomplish? Like, I want to be a mom one day. Okay? Guys, you want to be a mom one day? Right? If you're a young man here, you want to be a husband one day. I want to be a father. I want to be a really good father. Maybe you're here, maybe you don't have a really good father. Maybe your parents haven't been such great parents, and you want to kind of change the generational the generation. You know, for me, I want to get married one day and never get divorced. Because in my family, everyone's divorced. You know, my dad's in his 4th marriage, my mom's in his second marriage. All of my aunts and uncles have all been divorced and married multiple times. Everyone in my family. My grandparents have both been divorced multiple times. In fact, my grandparents in their 70s. My step-grandfather and my grandmother just got divorced like 2 years ago, in their 70s. Like, everyone in my family is divorced. So one of my dreams is to be married and never get divorced. That's the destination that I want to get to one day. That's one of mine. So write down maybe whatever dreams, hopes you have, whatever visions, whatever things you want to accomplish. I'm going to take about 45 seconds and shut up. And you guys want to write that down. Maybe some things you know God wants you to do. I want every person to write it down. Put it on one side of the card. We'll do something else in the back of the card later. About 15 more seconds. Maybe for someone here, you're like, man, my destination, I want to live a life of sexual purity. Maybe I want to get married. I want to be a virgin when I get married. Maybe that's a desire you've got. Maybe for some of you here, it's, man, I don't want to date around. I don't want to just be a regular American teenager that dates around corporately. Whatever the destination is that you want to have, and I want to be respectful of my parents. I want to have a great friendship with my parents. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a pastor. Here's the thing. As you write those, you can continue to write if you have more destinations you want to get to. Here's the thing. A lot of us intend to get to certain destinations. We intend to accomplish certain things. We want to reach a certain point in life. We want to accomplish certain things in life. And intentions are good. And hopes are good. And goals are good. However, intentions alone will never get you to the destination you want to get to. I want to say that again.
That's good.
Intentions will never get you to where you want to get to by themselves. Your intention does not determine your destination. It's your direction that determines your destination. And so, if I wake up tomorrow and say, man, I really want to be healthy. I want to get rid of this thing right here, my little pregnant belly. And I would like to, I'd like to get a 6-pack and just rip abs, I just want to be like just ripped and just have like muscles and just, I want to be one of those guys who's like so big you can't even wipe yourself, those guys? Like that's my intention. I want to be the guy that's just like, just swole, hashtag swole nation.
Full train.
Hashtag get it, hashtag do work. Just
Can't fit through the door.
The guy who talks like this, That's my intention. I want to be that dude. I want to be that guy, all right? I don't know about you guys. I go to the gym and I'm working out, and I'm like doing like the little, it's like, clank, clank, clank. The guy next to me's like, hey, what's happening, man? He's like lifting the bicep machine. He's like doing like pull-ups. He's like doing like the overhead press. He's like got like 90 pounds on each arm. I've got like 45 pounds combined. He's doing like 5 sets of 60s. It's warming up, man. And I do 12, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, that's my intention, is to be just ripped. Like, so what if, like, I get up and I start driving, and let's say the gym is that way, and I intend to be healthy and muscular, I'm going to drive toward Dunkin' Donuts. You would go, no, but I intend to be healthy. I mean, I want to be ripped and strong and muscular. Can I have a Boston cream? Extra sugar in the coffee, please? You would go, that's dumb, Kenny. That's stupid. Just because I intend to do something, or that I want to do something, or even that I recognize that that's good, it doesn't mean I'm going to get there unless I actually take a plan and head in the direction of the destination that that I want to get to. Over the next week, over the last 3 weeks of this series, doing a 4-week series of road signs, the last 3 weeks of this series, we're going to talk a lot about the steps to how to put together a plan to reach our destination. But before we do that, tonight, we have to establish and understand the fact that my intention never gets me to the destination. It's the direction of my life that will get me to the destination I want to get to. There's a stat, according to Forbes magazine, that only 8% of people that set out with New Year's resolution ever fulfill their resolution. 8. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Less than 10% of the people. Anyone make New Year's resolutions this year? Raise your hand. Make any? All right? Okay? So most of you will never meet them according to statistics. And here's the reason why. Because people say, oh, I want to do that. I want to do this. They don't actually put a plan in place to get there. So if I want to be healthy, I got to put a plan in place. The plan is this. I'm going to get up at 5 o'clock and I'm going to run 3 miles. I'm going to go to the gym at this time and this time. And I know I'm lazy when I get to the gym, so I got to have someone go with me to make sure I do what I want to do. Hey, whenever I'm going to, I know what you guys know, I moved to Florida last June. When I moved to Florida, I was 240 pounds. And today I weigh 209. And so, but I've been 209 since October, so don't be too excited for me. I lost most of that weight June, October. And since then, anyway, that's not the point. And so, I remember a couple weeks ago, I was actually at tea class. I was about to eat something, or it wasn't tea, it was here, I guess. I was about to eat something sweet, sugary. And Simone came up to me, and Simone literally did this motion. No! Smacked it out of my hand. Boom! And I really wanted the sweet thing. Or a couple days ago, I was in our student ministry's office, and I had these cookies there, and I was eating the cookies, and Miss Maddie Black comes in, and Maddie says, you don't really want these cookies, but I do, they taste so good. She grabs all the cookie sticks out of the bag and does this. Then she takes one and goes, and spits it back in the Ziploc bag. Like mixing it around. Why did you do that, Maddie? Simone, why'd you knock it on my hand? Here's the reason why. Because they know that I intend to be healthy, and they know that eating sugar doesn't put me in the direction of being healthy. So to help me out, they decided to do something that I didn't like to help me reach the destination that I ultimately want to reach. Many of us need people like that in our lives. We need people that will come to our lives and say, you want to head that destination? Then don't do that thing. But I really want to. I know. But you want to get to this destination. You know, I had this, as I look around the room, there are many people, and there's several students, that we've had that kind of conversation one-on-one. Whether it's driving, or here after a Wednesday night, or during the weekend when we're hanging out, we've had that sort of conversation. Where we've said something like, you want this, right? Well, you've got to do this thing. Well, I know, but it's so hard. Okay, then you're never going to get there. You're going to be a fat guy eating donuts all your life. You're never going to be at the gym. You're never going to get the rock hard abs. I know. Because you don't really put the work in to actually put the plan in place. So tonight what I want you to do is this. To really begin to consider, what are my dreams? What do I want to accomplish? What do I want to fulfill? What do I want to live out? And how do I live that out in my life? What is the plan that I need to live out in my life so that I can fulfill the destination that I want to fulfill? Oftentimes in our lives, we want to get to a certain place, and we have the intention of getting there, and we have an intention of doing something that ends one way. But sometimes it ends in a way that's very different than what we intended. I want to show you a video of some people that had the intention of doing things a certain way, but it maybe didn't end quite the way they wanted to. I don't think that's what they intended for that to end. I loved me and Tiffany McClone were watching a bunch online, editing the video last couple days ago. That was fun. This is what I can do with my job. Watch these videos and edit them videos. But this is a funny video, but I think sometimes we're looking at these guys and go, that was stupid, dude. And I also want to go, well, maybe it didn't end quite the way you wanted to because maybe you didn't set the plan in place properly. You notice most of those guys, by the way, weren't wearing helmets. There was like one dude in all those videos. Anyway, just throwing it out there. I think many times we have good intentions and good desires. We must realize that our intention does not determine our destination. Once you look at that, look at your 3x5 card. Look at the things that you wrote down. And determine, what do I got to do to actually get these things to happen in my life? Ask yourself that. Last week if you were here, we got a chance to see Jeff Kaler, international magician. He was legit. Those of you guys who were here, raise your hand. All right, if you absolutely loved Jeff Kaler, raise your hand. All right. If you were not here last week, you missed out on an awesome show. So I want to make sure you're here every Wednesday, because you never know when you might miss something as awesome as Jeff Kaler. Remember last week, afterwards, we were at T-Flats. Who was at T-Flats last week after Wednesday night? All right. And so you got a chance to show Jeff Kaler was there doing some more magic, some up-close stuff. And I remember one of our students, one of you guys said something to Jeff, something like, man, when did you start doing magic? And he was like, when I really wanted to start doing it and kind of got into it when I was a little kid. My uncle gave me a magic kit. And I always kind of wanted to do it, but when I was like in high school and college, I really got serious and started really working at learning how to do it. And then whoever the student was, I had the conversation with Jeff, says, man, I want to be a magician too, man. I hope I can do that. And Jeff says, well, you can, you just got to work at it. And so here we have one person with an intention. I hope to do that. I want to do that. I intend to do that. And the other person saying, if you want to do it, you have to actually put a plan in place. Jeff wasn't going to wake up and just be one of the best magicians in the world by accident. It didn't happen by accident. He didn't just wake up going, all right, I know how to take the $20 bill out of your hand and put it in an orange. Boom, done. That's not how it works. Like he's not doing real magic, by the way. He learned for years on how to do illusion and trick you and move things in a way you can't see it. It took him years and years to learn that, and he worked extremely hard. Those tricks, before he ever does them in front of a crowd, he's done them thousands of times. Literally. Jeff's a friend of mine. I've asked him multiple questions about it. He says, before I get in front of a crowd and do that trick, I've done it thousands of times at my house or in my studio. He works really, really hard. So this is what we do. We look at someone that's doing something that's awesome, and we go, oh man, I want to do that. I just hope it'll happen by accident. That's what we do. We look at marriages. People go, man, they got a great marriage. Look at that mom and dad. They love their family. What a great father he is. I want that one day. Hope it happens. No, hoping you have a great marriage will lead to you having a miserable marriage and divorce. Promise. Guaranteed. If you hope to be a good father, you're going to be a crappy father. I promise. If you hope to have a great relationship with your family one day, it will be terrible. Because hoping by itself doesn't do anything. You've got to put a plan in action. I think of young adults that I know that say, one day I want to be financially secure, but they never put away a single dime. I'm 31, and I've been saving money since I was 20 years old. And I've been able to secure my life financially. And I talk to 20 and 21-year-olds all the time. Yeah, man, I want to be financially secure. I want to be able to be debt-free like you. That'd be awesome. And I'm like, well, are you saving money today? Are you putting money away? Are you working at it? Nah, man. You got credit cards? Yeah. I go out to eat every day. I go fast food, and I just wipe the card, kind of make the minimum payment every month. Okay, you're going to be in debt, broke, poor for all your life then. Well, but I intend to be financially secure one day. Okay, you won't get there. Make a change. Or how about this? We get lots of people who say, oh man, I really want to know God. I want to love God. Man, I had this conversation with high school students all the time. Man, I want to love God. I want to love Jesus. I want to be like Jesus. I want to have this great relationship with God. How often do you read your Bible? Have you memorized a verse in the Bible? One time at VBS 7 years ago. Man, I really want to just love God. Man, I truly want to Well, when we're here on a Wednesday night, do you actually engage in worship? And when was the last time you actually sang to God? Last summer at Big Stuff, at one time I sang. Okay. Where your relationship with God is going to be crappy. There's an old movie in the 90s. Has anyone ever seen the movie Forrest Gump? Raise your hand. All right, most of you seen Forrest Gump? All right. Okay. In the movie, Forrest Gump would say something. He'd always say this: life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. I'm here to tell you, as much as I love Forrest, he was wrong. Forrest's mama was wrong. What? Life is not like a box of chocolates. Life is more like a tree. If you plant apple seeds, you're going to get an apple tree. If you plant orange seeds, you're going to get an orange tree. What? You're not going to plant apple seeds and get an orange tree. It don't work that way. And life is exactly the same way. Whatever you plant is what you're going to get. And if you plant financial responsibility at a young age, you'll be financially secure. If you're not financially responsible at a young age, you're going to be broke and poor all your life. That's the facts. If you want to have a great marriage one day, if you're planting the seed of being flirtatious as a teenager, it will affect your marriage one day. Life is not like a box of chocolates. Sorry, Forrest, you're wrong. In fact, the Bible tells us that whatever you sow, whatever you plant, you will reap. That's what you will pull out of the ground. Do not be mocked. Don't be stupid. Don't think otherwise. That's the Bible's words, not Kenny's. God says, hey, stop being stupid and thinking that you're going to plant one thing and get something else. That's just dumb. Don't be that. So look at your card again and say, what do I want? And what do I have to plant right now to get that? I know lots of girls that say, man, I want to marry a good Christian guy who's got his act together and man, have a great life. But they go out and date with a bunch of loser dudes. Oh, you want to have a great, but you're dating that guy? That dude right there, really? Okay. Ooh, crazy. I wasn't pointing at you guys. That was more generic in the air point.
Not me.
Right about a bunch of guys that say, man, I want to be pure with my eyes and control my sexual thoughts, but they make no effort to stop looking at porn. We have lots of wives that say, man, I want to have a great marriage, but they keep picking their children over their husband every time they get. We have husbands in our churches that say, man, I want to be respected by my kids and be looked up to and admired, but they flirt with every girl in the neighborhood of the church, even though they're married. I have teenagers that say, man, I want to graduate and get good grades, but rather than actually working hard, they play video games, just hang out and be lazy, or skip class. I got teenagers in our ministry to say, man, my parents are mad at me. I don't want them to be mad at me. Well, why are you mad at me? Well, because I'm not really trying real hard. Okay, well, you're planting laziness. You're going to pull out of the ground anger from your parents. And you deserve it. How about the young man that says, man, I want to get along with my siblings. I want to have a great relationship, but makes no effort to understand why his siblings are the way they are. How about a teenager who says, man, I want to live a long, healthy life, but smokes a pack of cigarettes a day and eats Taco Bell 5 days a week.
You should have been dead by then.
Where's Mikey?
Mikey!
That dude loves Taco Bell. He doesn't eat 5 days a week, though. And he doesn't smoke a pack of cigarettes a day either. So I think he should be healthy. He should be all right.
Better not.
But seriously, we have people saying, well, I don't want to get cancer when but you smoke a pack of cigarettes for 40 years, you might get lung cancer. I mean, this is the reality of life. That whatever we put in is what we're going to get out. Over the next 3 weeks, we're going to talk a lot about some of the practical steps we can take to figure out how to fulfill the destinies God has for us. But before we ever put a plan in place, we must begin to embrace the idea that my intentions will never determine my destination. My direction will determine my destination. Just because you want something doesn't mean anything. At your table, at your chair, you've got Bibles there. Why don't you turn to Proverbs chapter 7? Proverbs chapter 7. It is, if you have a Mosaic Bible there, it is page 342. The book of Proverbs was written by a guy named Solomon, who was the wisest man that ever lived. True story. The wisest man that ever lived. God gave him lots of knowledge. And so if you want to have great knowledge and great wisdom on how to do it, I would encourage you to read the book of Proverbs. In fact, there's 31 Proverbs, and so you can read one a day. You can read the proverb of the day. So today is January the 15th. You can read Proverbs 15. Tomorrow is January the 16th. You can read Proverbs 16. And go through all of the Proverbs and read a proverb a day. I did that all through high school and all through most of my 20s. I read a proverb a day. And I learned a lot of great wisdom. I know at the time I'm sitting across the table from someone, and they ask for advice about something, and I give them some advice that's like really, really good. And they're like, wow, you're so smart. How'd you get that? I go, I actually stole it from the Proverbs. I didn't come up with it on my own. I'd like to take the credit, but God wrote it through Solomon. So if you want to read, I highly encourage you, read the Proverbs, read a proverb a day. They're super simple and they're easy, and you will learn a lot from them.
What verse number?
In the Mosaic Bibles, page 342, if you have your own Bible, it is Proverbs chapter 7. So this guy named Solomon what he's doing, Solomon is hanging out on his roof or on an upper porch somewhere, and he's watching some dude walk by. He's watching this kid walk by, and he sees this kid with the intention of heading in a particular direction. Mike, you're right there, Mike. I didn't even see you sitting there. I was looking for you. I was just talking about Taco Bell. Where's Mikey? I didn't see you. Good to see you, man. Wow. I didn't even notice that dude. Here he is.
Wow.
All right, so thanks for not smoking a pack of cigarettes today, man. Anyway, I was going to talk about that kombucha drink, but I'll talk about it later. Anyway, different song. His parents eat this mushroom juice that's like really healthy. Anyway.
Kombucha.
Yes, that's what I call it. Anyway, so Mike is just shaking his head like, what are you talking about? Proverbs chapter 7. Solomon sees this teenager walking, and he's talking about this guy who has the intention of heading in a particular direction, but he gets distracted. Proverbs chapter 7. Solomon says this, my son, keep my words and treasure my commandments with you. Keep my commandments and live. Keep my teaching as the apple of your eye. Bind them together with your fingers. Write them on the tablet of your heart. He's saying, hey, I'm about to give you a bunch of wisdom in the book of Proverbs. I want you to take these and write them on the tablet of your heart. Take these words, the wisdom, the advice you've got right here, put it inside of you. Get it inside of you, follow it. Bind it together on your fingers. Make it the apple of your eye. Make it the thing you think about. Make it the thing you focus on. Take the wisdom that's in the Bible and make it the most important thing in your life. That's how you avoid what he's about to describe. Go to verse 6. He begins to describe a young man that he sees walking somewhere. For at the window of my house I have looked out through my lattice, and I have seen among the simple, I have perceived among the youths a young man lacking sense. I see a young man lacking sense, passing along the street near her corner, taking the road to her house in twilight, in the evening, the time of night and darkness. And behold, the woman meets him, dressed as a prostitute. And so I see this dude walking down the street, and this woman comes out who's dressed like a prostitute. Verse 11, she is loud and wayward. I'm half of that. I'm loud, I'm not wayward. Okay, good. I got a little nervous. Apparently loud being bad. But only loud is bad if it's coupled with wayward, so that's good. If you don't know what wayward is, Google that, all right? Here we go. Her foot, it just means that you're going the wrong way, that you want to go in the wrong direction. Her feet do not stay at home, now in the street, now in the market. At every corner she lies in wait. Verse 13, she seizes him and kisses him. With, what? Someone's like, what? That never happened to you before. I never walk down the street, some woman just comes out, grabs me, and kisses me. What? Some dudes are like, what happened to me, Jesus? You don't want this kind of girl doing it, all right? Right? This guy's going to be thinking, what the heck? I'm just walking down the street, this girl's just like, just straight kisses me. Whoa! This girl was smoking and she kissed me. This legit, it's my lucky day. Right? He's got to be thinking this, right?
This is real.
Verse 14, I had to offer sacrifices, and today I have paid my vows. So now I have come out to meet you, to seek you eagerly, and I have found you. And I have found you. I have spread my couch with coverings and colored linens from Egypt, and colored linens from Egyptian linen. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. She's saying, listen, what I did was, I got some linens from Egypt, and I put a bunch of cinnamon all over my bed, so I want you to come in and do a little something, something with me. First of all, why do you want to hang out in a bed, I mean, doing something with a girl in a bed that smells like cinnamon? That's a little weird. Just saying, that's a little bit strange. That should be, right there, this dude should have been like, wait a minute. Cinnamon? I don't know about that, girl. I'm down with roses. I mean, that should have been a clue. Right there. I didn't write it. God wrote it through Solomon. Verse 18. Come, let us take our fill of love till the morning. You know what you're talking about. Let us delight ourselves with love. Verse 19. Now here's where it gets scandalous. Real scandalous. For my husband is not at home. No, come on now. No. He has gone on a long journey. He took a bag of money with him. At full moon he will come home. With much seductive speech she persuades him. With her smooth talk she compels him. All at once he follows her, as an ox goes to the slaughter. Now, have you guys ever seen like those videos where they show like animals being taken in to be killed, to be, the cows or chicken, and they're going into the slaughter, and like you see like the cows are like all like calm and nice, and they're being like led into the slaughterhouse. They have no clue what's about to happen, right? Like Mackenzie's in back, right? So they have no clue. This is Solomon saying this boy looks like that. He's saying you, when you lack sense, when you don't do what the Bible tells you to do, you look like an ox. Oh, I don't know. I intended to have a good life. I intended to fulfill the things that were in the card. I don't know. You're like an ox headed to the slaughter. Your life is about to be ruined. The devil's about to wreak havoc on your life and destroy and devastate the dreams and hopes that you have. And you have no clue. You're like this stupid boy being led away by a wayward woman. Verse 23. We'll go to verse 24. And now, sons, listen to me. Solomon's saying, listen, I just told you a story, now listen to me. Be attentive to the words of my mouth. If you're not attentive to the words of his mouth, the words he's about to give you, you will end up like an ox being led to the slaughter. You're going to end up ruining it. Those things in that card, throw it away. Forget it. You won't get there. If you don't make his word, if you're not attentive to what Solomon's about to. He's saying, listen up. You want to have a good life? You want to do the things that God calls you to do? You want to have friendship with God? Listen very carefully. Let not your heart turn aside from her ways. Do not stray into her paths. For many a victim has she laid low, and all her slain are a mighty throng. Her house is the way of Sheol. Sheol is hell. Following the things that may distract you leads you to hell. That's what he's saying. Going down to the chambers of death. And then he gives you Proverbs 8. The very next verse, very next chapter. He's saying, hey, here's what we need to do. Does wisdom not call? Does not understanding raise her voice? On the heights beside the way, at the crossroads, she takes her stand, besides the gates in front of the town. He's saying, hey, wisdom and understanding, the things that you ought to do, the things you want to know, they're screaming at you. Don't flirt with that guy. Don't be texting. Don't be Snapchatting that thing. Don't be disrespecting your parents in that way. Don't do that thing. Don't skip that class. Listen, these things are obvious. You know what to do. Don't be like that. Don't be like the ox being led to the slaughter. Do you not recognize that your intention doesn't get you where you want to go? Do you not recognize that the direction of your life is what determines whether or not you fulfill your destiny? And he goes throughout Proverbs 8 and 9 and begins to lay out all of the things that we ought to do. And over the next couple of weeks, we'll talk about the things that we ought to do in our lives. I want you to grab those little 3x5 cards you have there. I want everyone to remain remain quiet, no talking for the next few moments. We're going to take a few minutes, and I want you to flip the card over. And I want you to begin to write down the things that you know you've got to do or stop doing in order to fulfill the things you wrote on the other side of the card. And so if you wrote on one side of the card, I'd like to have a great relationship with my parents. On the other side, what's one or two things you can do? Be practical. Hey, I'd like to graduate from high school. On the back side of the card, go to class. That might be one you want to write. I'd like to be a little healthier. Okay, work out once a week. Right? Okay, I'd like to one day be a great father. Okay, maybe talk to a great father in our church and ask him how he's a great dad. Okay, I want to be close to God. Maybe read the Bible at least one day this week. And I'd really like to be able to feel closer to God. Maybe sing worship to God one day this week. Okay, I'd really like to learn how to deal with maybe some depression. Okay, I'm going to read a book I'm going to go ask Joel or Kenny what book I should read to help me with this. Okay, whatever it is you want to do, look at your card, the things you want to accomplish, or maybe some things that you, as you've been talking, maybe you've been wrestling, maybe these are things that God would want me to fulfill. And then I want you to write on the back side of the card, what are maybe 2 or 3 things you can do this week, this month, you can start doing. Maybe I want to read a proverb a day. Whatever it is, write down just 2, 3, 4, 5 things. You guys can put maybe some worship music on, just soft in the back. I'm going to have you guys no talking, and just write down a couple things that you would like to accomplish.